Hello folks, Trevor and Danny at Monster Hobbies. This video is an update of the 1966 Beaumont for the Canada Strong group build. I started this build at the beginning of February with a bit of progress I wanted to share. From the first video, I mentioned my plan to mimic the Beaumont on the cover of Muscle Car magazine shown here. However, as you will see, I have altered my plans a bit. First order of business was to finish off a couple of other builds before I started the Beaumont. These are actually the first models I have completed in about 40 years. The first is the 132 GTR kit from Aoshima, where I decided to experiment with enamel airbrushing to achieve the midnight purple of the 1-to-1 car. That enamel paint practice will come in handy on the Beaumont, as I'll explain. The other kits I finished were the 143 scale Airfix Pagani and Aston Martin, where I practiced mixing paint colors to see if I could get the shades I wanted. They all turned out how I envisioned. Oh, that 1966 GTX I showed in my first video, that was almost complete. Let's just say that one was an experiment of mixing and matching parts from other kits that I have placed on the shelf of horror to remind me that I need to test fit, dry fit before I commit to paint and assembly. So now on to the Beaumont. First I was concerned about my skills in filling the hood vents on that kit to mimic the other Beaumont from the magazine. In searching the web, I came across this Beaumont with the side vents, gills, that also had the hood vents. Since this is a configuration I know exists, I can proceed with the build confident I am producing something in reality, even though I know this group build does not require accuracy. I mentioned I was going to use the Redline tires from the Revell GTO kit. Note to self, these tires are too small. They would not work with the hubcaps from the AMT 1965 El Camino I am using. Fortunately, the El Camino kit came with these white letter tires, so I will use those instead. With the paint, I tried mixes of Tamiya XF7 and XF9, but they came out too brown, not the maroon I was looking for. I went searching for another maroon paint and found this Tester's dark red metallic that has the tone and shine I want. So I'm going to use this for my build over gray primer. So, first part of the build is the chassis, since that will be stock. It took me a bit of clamping to ensure the parts fit together, but once in place, everything worked out well. I painted the chassis semi-gloss black, and the gas tank is oily steel. I applied some Tamiya flat to these parts to give them a more aluminum look. I kept the other chrome parts chrome. With the new wheels and tires, I found that the wheel backs that came with the kit are too wide. So doing a bit of measuring and using my miter box and a saw, I was able to cut them down to a reasonable width. I believe these will now look satisfactory under the car once I paint the wheel back's body color. I also started with the engine. Since these photos were taken, I painted and assembled most of the motor, which I will show in another video. Also in that next video, I will show what I've done to the body so far. Although my biggest worry is how I'm going to cut the rear fascia and lights from the body to fit the resin Beaumont items. Wish me luck. See you next time.